Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. I'm Janelle. This is the Janelle Art Channel, and I'm here with Maya, Alice in Art Supply, Hoarderland. Hi, Maya. How are you doing?
Hi, Janelle. Oh, I got your notification.
Oh, my goodness. It does work.
Yeah. Maybe I should turn off the sound.
Did you might have got a notification? We've got action on the channel. So that's wonderful. Let's see. Wow, it does not give us that community control to make this subscriber only. So
Yeah,
we'll
and
see how it goes.
I don't see the battery thing we were talking about. I still don't see it. So I just have to hope for the best.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah, me either. We're just diving right into the technical challenges of the
Yeah.
live stream portion. Right off the top, we often stream together using uh, every streaming platform of one sort or the other, but I have this continued curiosity to see if I can make the YouTube uh, uh, I can't think of the word of where we can stream with two people on it. So we keep trying it, and every time I get to it, I find it just well, there's room for improvement. That's much of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've reconfigured my workbench yet again here. May not look like it, but it's different for me. So I've been working on one of my pebble paintings, and I'm gotten to the stage where I'm gonna add in some of the shadows and highlights. That's what I'm working on. What have you got going tonight, Maya?
Um. Nothing yet because yeah, like I said, my brain is not quite. It's
Well,
5 a.m. and I
oh
got
my
up.
goodness.
I got up at 1 a.m. So yeah. Hi Dan.
Hey, hi Dan. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah, yesterday was a kind of a mess here, so I didn't paint at all, which is not not a good day.
Wow, you almost always paint every day.
I know, but I was busy all day, and yeah. You know, when life happens, it's you just have to follow along.
Yeah. Hey Dan, do you have a minute? And would you mind doing a moderation task for me before you go off into the great sleepy? Thank you. Um, it appears that I don't have the controls to set the audience to subscriber only. So I'm gonna mod you up, and if you could take a look and see if you've got community moderation controls, and if you could set that to subscribers of 1 minute or longer. That would be a tremendous help to me. Thank you so much. Dan has a channel, Elegant Woodwork, and on Saturdays he runs a live stream where he does some elegant. I got it wrong, didn't I? Elegant woodcraft. Oh, I'm just gonna have to tape a post-it to my head. And last Saturday he was making a stool. The Saturday before he was making a fishing rod holder. It's always something interesting there, and you have such a lovely group of people in your chat. They just are. They're characters with amiable senses of humor, and I really just like spending time there. It's a good Saturday morning. I like to get my stuff out and sit and paint while I'm watching Dan. I love watching people make stuff. It's something really cool about that. Now, I've looked all over YouTube trying to figure out what the functionality is when we're streaming with two people in the stream, and I couldn't locate any information about it at all. So it may not be offered on these type of stream stands. So it should be
That's
right up there. It should be on the tools icon, the little gear, and then you should have something that drops down on that menu of hello, silly wabbit.
hey.
But if you are hunting, Dan, and you don't see it, that's not you. It's probably YouTube. But I thought it was worth trying to find it just to cut down on the trolley shenanigans. So, are you working on some art projects out there? Silly Wabbit 5. I think you're new to my channel. I don't.
Oh,
And he found it.
yeah. Yeah, well, you probably have to tell me where you find because I
Really?
I still haven't figured out how the hell how to
Yeah, it's. Well, welcome in. We do arty stuff, and sometimes we do some mindfulness stuff here, and we
just hang
talk
out.
about. We just hang out. You got it, Dan. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I appreciate you very much. Yeah. So was it in the tools menu? Well, Wabbit says they love art and watching art, so
Awesome. I do too.
yeah, I do as well. And wait till you see Maya get going here. Just hang around, because Maya has been working with watercolor paints for about 4 years, and I just am learning so much with watching her do washes. Aha! Dan K. I had to do that on another channel that I was modding for. I came like I shut YouTube. I had to restart my phone. I must have had to do 6 different things before it finally, like, all of a sudden, it went back to the old view, and there it was. So I really appreciate your persistence with that.
Huh.
So just yeah, apparently, and why it would have 2 views for that is just sort of crazy, but so it's not quite teal blue, Dan, but I'm working with Prussian blue. Hi, Kyla G. Welcome in.
Hey.
It's a little bit of a different hour for me to be live streaming, but I saw that Maya was up and about, and I thought, why not? Let's just throw out the invitation and see,
What happens?
because yeah, see what happens, because there's almost always somebody out there who's hanging around and wants to come and spend a little bit of time and watch a little bit of art and kind of get their calm on. What a beautiful blue that is.
Sorry, I have a glare.
I have 3 glares, so
Okay.
yeah, don't fret. It's very we're just here for the company, really.
Yeah.
If you were here for the technical expertise, I don't,
Yeah.
that's
Sorry.
I just don't even try. I just try to, show up in human here and hang out with some people, and that is a much more achievable goal. So Kyla G says watercolors are her fave,
Nice.
and Dan would like to know what you're making because
Yeah. Well, I kind of would like to know too what I'm making. I'm not sure, but just
we don't
see
know
what it.
yet.
No, just see. I'm guessing maybe it would turn out like a Christmas tree or something here, just because
Yeah,
it's Christmas.
Maya likes to put the paint into the water and see where it goes and what it suggests, and then she does the magic Maya thing, and she turns it into some lovely landscape. Maya, that's the trouble streaming with you, is I like to watch you paint so much. I usually end up over here just kind of with everybody else. Oh, I get a loose. Always literally have a wild hair in my brush tonight.
Brush have a bad hair day.
Yes, that's also funny. You know, when you get one that's just starting to kind of go out, or else I pick up a cat hair in the brush and then, it's always over the line. You'd think I would have learned by now not to be so controlling with my watercolor and where it goes, but
Yeah.
so you guys get you get both sides of it. You get me just trying to keep the watercolor, like, I put the lines on the paper and just try to make the paint stay where I put it, and, then you get Maya, who just comes at it with a whole different, um, approach. She's just willing to let the paint
That's the magic
flow
with
and
water. That's the magic with watercolor, that they kind of can do the job for you.
yeah, yeah. Dan, just email me your address and I'll pop one out. Pop one over to Pennsylvania for you. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Dan might want teal. Is that my guess?
Is he a teal guy?
I believe he has stated
Okay.
that teal is one of his favorites.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd offered up 20 of them if people would make a donation to a fundraiser for, for a $25 donation to Cubs Champion 16, and that channel is, like, all jammed together, CUBSCHAMPIONS 16. Um, and today was the deadline for that, so, we'll say many of them went unclaimed, but, a lot of people made donations, and I believe he met his goal on that fundraiser, so it all worked out pretty well.
That's nice.
Yeah. I was glad to help, and I'm glad that that took a worry off of him. Yeah, there's some information about it on my community post, Dan, if you feel inclined. Um, he got he got charged with, what was it? Some crazy federal wiretapping charge because he was recording a Scientologist who was trying to assault him while the Scientologist was using his phone, and the Church of Scientology is known for influencing prosecutors to bring charges for the craziest things, and they somehow managed to get those charges brought on him, and it just, like, it doesn't even make sense to my lawyer brain at all how that can work, and I'm probably not understanding the nuances of it in some way, but like everybody, he deserves a chance to get a trial and have this stuff sorted out, so we are working to help him pay a retainer. And, I get that that might not be everybody's idea of something they wanna give money to. That's up to you. If it works for you, that's fantastic. If it doesn't, just kick an email my way and we'll figure it out. Because I sure appreciate Dan has been very helpful to my channel along the way, and, yeah, I know, it's a whole bucket of crazy, Dan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I kinda see it from both sides. I'm sure that they don't really enjoy having somebody, standing outside of their premises holding signs, and um, I know when I was involved with a high demand religion, I sure didn't see it as being harmful. I didn't think for a minute it was a cult, but we do we do have quite a few organizations, particularly in America, that um, the way that they the way that they brainwash people, the way that they take resources away from people, and they really do qualify as cults. So I know, Dan, right? See, that's what I'm saying. We have to be very quiet when we heap the praise, otherwise she gets a little she gets a little nervous. So we are watching the wild Maya in her natural surroundings.
Natural habitat.
Exactly.
But I think this will have to dry, and maybe I need some other paper.
Uh, she's also quite good at being patient and letting that stuff dry. I kind of want to just keep going. I'll tell you, the
Oh, if
watercolor
you
does.
if you knew how many paintings I've ruined because I didn't let them dry, oh my god! And I do use the hair dryer, but sometimes the paint just have to do its thing,
Hmm. Yeah,
and that happens when it dries on its own. So
that's right. If you use a heat tool on it, and you can, it will just arrest everything right where it is. But if you just leave it alone, the paint will keep diffusing out into the water, and that's where some of the most magical effects come.
yeah, and like granulation and stuff, that doesn't quite work with like hair dryer. It's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Wabbit says, I like both of your art. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Dan, what have you got? Do you know what you're going to be working on? I know it's only Monday. We still have till Saturday. So would we finishing working on the stool, or I just can't wait to see. Yeah. It's gonna finish the step stool. Well, that'll be awesome.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Now that's yet a different I haven't seen this one yet. That has the path go down to the left. So have you
yeah.
used
This is the one I made when we streamed on Sunday.
Mhm. Okay. So have you used Brusho on the bottom of it there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
All right. Okay,
Maybe when
Dan,
you maybe
I just was telling Dan that I've made him back to a standard chatter so that he can just hang out and have fun with us and not feel like I've put him to work too hard. And thank you again for that. Pondfish, howdy doody.
hi
Hello,
Pumfish.
hello. Uh, the Pondfish, I just want to say thanks for hanging out with us with our 4 Up stream the other day. That was I went back and listened to that a little bit after it processed, and holy hell did that have we had some big sound challenges. So I just want to give you a big thank you for for hanging out and bearing with us throughout that technical. That was more technical difficulty than we like to see. So, I know the swatching was good, but the sound was a little. Well, it was awfully rough. There's just no way to put it, but it was a delight to stream with Jeff PPS for Life and also with Brad at Drop Short Media. That's a good question. Silly Wabbit asks, do I do the circles or do I do the paint? I do the paint. And I'm going to let this dry down. Let's just show you what that looks like. So I've got a container here that's full of what I refer to as blanks. Yeah, then maybe I'll do this one instead. So they range in size from about 2.75 inch square to these 4-inch squares or the 6-inch square I was working on. Sometimes I work in some rectangular sizes as well. Oh, sometimes I even actually paint things. As you see, my style is just very different from Maya's. Oh, Ponfish says they enjoyed the swatching. I'm so glad. We had a lot of fun doing it.
So how was the sound for you?
Yeah, I think if I recall, Ponfish was with us towards the end of the the end of the live stream. So we have the option.
The tape is because when the paper is wet, it starts to buckle, and it just yeah, I don't know. So the tape kind of holds it kind of flat.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the feedback, Pondfish. Yeah, it also allows an area, a border around the painting so that it can be matted and framed later. And it does. It does hold the paint back too.
Well, this brush is kind of just shedding. Okay.
So what I've got is a pigment ink pen. I very often will use the Micron, the Pigma Micron ones. It's an archival permanent ink. Hey Adam, good to see you. What is up, Groomer? Hi Jen. I'm so delighted to see you. Hi.
Nice to see you.
I saw you and the youngster out cruising around the other night.
Oops. Sorry. Oh, my chair is squeaked. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, Maya's having a hard time today. Yeah. So I'm just looking for the areas kind of in between the different colors or maybe the different textures. and just dropping an outline quickly on the shapes and colors. Oh my gosh, Maya, that tape sound.
Oh, sorry. You know what?
It's not quite felt tip pens, but
Yeah, I will just mute myself until I can find what I'm looking for.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Dan, I was watching Dan over on actually, Kelly, Dan, you want to drop a link for your channel in here? I know how to do this. We'll just do this again. Yeah. For you guys who don't know, Dan does some really wonderful wood crafting stuff, and he has been a help to me around here. And in many ways, I just really appreciate his presence. But yeah, he makes quite a few big loud sounds on his channel too. Yeah. So Pup Grimmer says you had fun and you went to the train station to look at the sciatica. Did Otto Cock Rocket get you there? And then to the Renaissance Village to catch the train, all decorated. Okay, it did get you. Oh, autocorrect. That's not even close. Ah, okay. Now that's not showing up as a link. So, Dan, that's okay. It just might be YouTube. I'll drop it in afterwards for those of you who want to track down Dan. He does a live stream on Saturday mornings. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So Dan, if you go to your channel, so if you click on your own name, it should minimize the stream, but it should take you. It'll either pop up a little menu that'll show your channel activity, and then one of those choices you can go to channel, and then you can just go to the 3 dots and click on that. Find share, and isn't this easy and isn't this convenient? Then you copy your link, then come back here and just drop that copied link in the chat, and that will put a live link to your channel there. I'm making you work here. That's all right though. Now that I know you've got your channel, I'm just gonna. There it is. Fantastic. Yep, that's how to do that. You can actually even go out to a website. You can go to any other channel, anything on YouTube. You can drop links for fundraisers. You can drop links for Amazon wish lists, Linktree, anything that's on a description page of our channel. Like, if you go to a YouTube channel and then there's a little bit of a description and a link to the channel description, and some channels will have links, so you can open those, copy those, bring those back. All kinds of mischief. It's not a Janelle Art live stream without some sort of YouTube trickery that I share with you guys. So, yeah. So Dan, did you put your Dan K channel or did you put your Elegant Woodcraft channel? So
Wait, do you have two channels?
he does.
Oh, what's the other one? Is it wood thing
Mm-hmm.
on that too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've kind of switched up how I do links because it is I find it distracting. I'm still struggling to keep my pen on the paper and keep track of chat, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I oh, there's Antics. Hi, Antics.
Hi, Antex.
So I've been doing the links afterwards, mostly, but unless we're just discussing the topic pretty hard, so. And I've been telling people I don't know if that's gonna be my final stand on how I do the links, uh, but that's what I'm doing for now, so. I really want to make this be a space for people to come and just hang out and relax and just chat about art and not have to feel like they've gotta work too hard or, go run here and there. And it's a struggle, I gotta say. I'm not smooth with it, but and, yeah, silly Wabbit, if you are looking for Maya's link right now, there's links to her channel on my community posts. I think the most recent one has links to her channel, so, yeah. Well, once you start here's the thing, Dan, that um once you start streaming, it helps to be able to know where those things are so that you can, um, use the tools if you need to, and I've noticed your live streamers are really a pretty good bunch. I don't even know if we've ever even I know I have never blocked or timed out anybody on your channel, which is that's a switch up for sure. Kinda used to handling a bit of that, but I'll tell you, I could get used to not because it was a pretty good pretty good time over there.
Yeah. So people, now this is where the magic happens, where when the runaway paint just run away. Uh-oh. Janelle? Did we lose Janelle or did you lose me? I don't know. Hey,
Okay.
did you have to get the ice?
I was just going to ask if you wanted to give one guess what was happening. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, Jen, I was there today. I woke up today with my back just completely in spasm. I couldn't even make my way out of bed this morning. So it was one of those make my way to the ice pack and the aspirin kind of days. So yeah, a lot of that going around. Yep. Uh, yeah, pond fishes, they've been trying to do landscapes for the first time and they aren't turning out as good as Maya's. I think Maya has a wonderful knack for landscapes. So
Yeah, well, it took 4 years kind of to get there.
yeah, yep. She's all right. Have you had enough of making links, Dan? I'll put you back to standard here so you could just enjoy the show. There you go.
Okay, you have to. I'll be right back. I need new water, and I just
Alrighty.
mute myself, and I'll be back. I am yeah. Okay.
That's part of it. We do have to do a little bit of getting getting fresh water. It feels like I'm always doing that when I'm watercolor painting here. So if you guys will bear with me, I need to sort of reconfigure so I can leave my phone on a hot pack. It has decided to. It didn't do this for a long time, and then it would do it every time I used Restream. My phone would heat up like crazy, and cannot figure out why it's doing it. But what are those little fans like you use, Jen? Because my like solution is grab an ice pack out of the fridge, and then then I just set the phone on an ice pack, and oh, that was kind of not quite what I wanted here. Well, apparently we have nausea-inducing or what do you guys think of that? Too close? Not enough? Well, we'll give it a try. So we had a question earlier about whether I started with the lines and painted them in, or whether I start with paint on the paper or media of some kind. It's not always watercolor, but it often that's quite easy to mix up a little paint and just give it a good splash onto the paper. I also use other water-based media. One of my favorites is the Neocolor 2 crayons. They are a product from Caran d'Ache. Neocolor 2. It's a water-soluble wax pastel, and it really has the feel, and it handles like a Crayola crayon, so it's very familiar. We use those a lot as kids, or at least did in my time. in school, like age 6 to 10, or maybe even a little bit younger than that. So they go on to the paper just like a crayon, and then you can use them that way, make those kind of crayon type marks with them. You can add a little water and it liquefies it into paint, and it does it very easily. So I'll also use some gel markers, watercolor pencils, sometimes some ink, just whatever my imagination is wanting to engage with on that particular day. So we've got the picture stabilized, but unfortunately, I can't see the chat. So give me a minute and I will be back to you guys to respond to your comments and questions. So I think that that shows how we knock one of those out there pretty quickly. Then I might use something like it's probably not going to want to focus on it. This is just a Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencil, and a shade in where the rocks overlap each other. Can bring in a little bit of water on a small brush. And because the lines are permanent ink, they'll stay put when I bring water into it. But I can push that pigment around and adjust the texture on those pebbles. Kind of scrub it out at the top a little bit and push it to the edges to create the shadows. Once this dries down, I will come in with a white water-based ink or a lighter colored media, and I'll create some highlights. And those will go on the parts of the rock that I want to look like if you were looking down on rocks, the part that's closest up would have the light reflecting off of it on the leading edges of it. So that helps alleviate some of the flatness. My style is really pretty flat. Let's see, have I got that in? Oh, I don't have it in frame. Sorry about that. So if I wet this and then come in with a little bit of white tissue, I can lift the paint back up and really fine tune those overlapping edges. And I just kind of work away at it a little bit at a little bit. Okay, hang on. The chat. No, I appreciate above and beyond. Alrighty. Yeah, no, in general, oh golly. Up your nose far away. What I'm usually doing here is a mindfulness. So we're talking about just workbench, getting the brush, and trying to tune out the other stuff just to keep our mind on what is happening on the paper. And the all right, Dan, thanks for coming in, and thank you again for your help. I appreciate that. Have a good night, and we'll see you on Saturday
Good night,
for
Dan.
sure. Yeah. So, do you, above and beyond it says that they've never used watercolors before, and I ask, do you have watercolors, or do you have anything? A lot of times when we go and check our art supplies, we're kind of surprised at what we find. We may find that we already have some media that are a water-based media. Here's an example: rubber stamp ink. That can be put down. You can just put that onto your. You can do it with the gel-based media. Lots of sorts of things. And I'll just put it right down. I'm going to get a little bit of a different brush to show you here. So you might not think you have any, but you might. You might have some that'll work that way. This is just a dropper of water. Just a drop of water, that's all. Make a little elbow room here for myself. You can also do this with colored pencils. And suddenly, watercolor paint. I'm going to work on this a little bit bigger size.
Oh. Sorry, that took a while. You know me, I have to go out and get some snow and melt it to get some fresh water, and yeah.
Oh, now that you say that, I just want to do that. That would be very lovely water.
Yeah, it can be depending on where you take the snow from, and not use the yellow snow.
No,
Stay away from the yellow snow.
that is the
Good
advice of
advice.
Frank Zappa. So it's watercolor is pretty forgiving. So if you can find something, if you're into rubber stamping at all, I have a whole stash of the Tim Holtz Distress inks, and those you can just swipe those down on your palette, add a little water, and they make a lovely colorful paint. So you might think, oh, I've got some colored pencils. When you take a little bit of a closer look, a lot of colored pencils, when you look at them, this one's got it's a watercolor pencil. So I don't know. I don't know what you've got in your art cupboard, but I hope that you'll find something that can be used. Experiment with it. Get a piece of paper, and you can either sketch yourself a little outline and color it. We did some snowmen earlier that were pretty fun to do.
Hi, Frod. By the way.
Hello. What a lovely, lovely chat group we have here today. Oh, so above and beyond, it says that they have some watercolors, but they've never tried them.
Oh my God, you
Well,
have to try.
you have to. You must.
It's a must. Yes.
Let's see if I can put my hands on that snowman. It's kind of the season. If you're not everybody's a Christmas celebrator or in the northern hemisphere, but we're a bit in that range. Yeah, you can just try a couple of circles, and then I've written happy holidays. You can just color stuff up pretty quickly. Of course, you know the snowmen are going to be at the bottom of the basket, aren't they? There they are. So it's a simple line drawing, and then you can just use the paint to add details. Just start simple and just try to remember it's only a piece of paper. If you make a bit of a mess, that's okay. You can just
Mess is
start
good.
with deliberately using a bigger brush and just splashing some colors on and outlining whatever shapes you happen to see there. Try getting the paper wet and then load your brush up with paint and drop it into the wet parts of the paper. Watch what happens. And you'll become familiar with the way the paint operates. But I just believe that playing is a really it's a good way to
getting to know your paint and your stuff. That's important. What makes them different from acrylic painting? Because acrylic painting, they dry and they put like watercolor. They if you get them wet, they just re-wet. They get wet again.
oh okay. Right. So yeah, with acrylics, you can't re-wet them. So you can put any kind of you can put markers or media over the top of it. Watercolor, if I re-wet this, and I'm not going to do it on this one because I'm working on a particular project here, but I can bring water back in. I can reactivate that paint and move it around on the page. So DOA is a fraud says, I don't think I've ever seen you paint the pebbles after Janelle. That might be because you probably mostly watch me do the exercises, but when I do the large rock paintings, I will outline an area, I will put a puddle of water, and then I work wet in wet on a distinct area of, let me see if I can zoom out a little. Nope, we're all the way out. Yeah. So on these larger format paintings, that is the technique that I would use. So I actually do paint sometimes. Besides just the swatching and then these pebble exercises. But because I'm trying to do something that's in the lines of the neurographic art, that's much more intuitive instead of being planned out. You'll notice I don't ever, sketch out anything on the paper or do that. I just splash the paint on, you know, in this way. Actually, I've got mixed in here some of my swatches with new paints, but I will just put the paint on and then I'll work from here to outline those presenting themselves to my eye, the pigment pens. So I guess to answer the question, I work from both sides. I work from blanks that have paint imposing the lines on it. I also work where I've got white paper, put the lines on, and then put the rocks within the, yeah. Like here, I was working, need another arm. So this one, I laid down puddles of water and then I introduced paint into it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of, that's one thing about this chat here. I love how you guys help answer technical questions for one another, and just the more information you have, the sometimes that can really open doors and get your creativity going. Yeah, you guys want to see this is somebody who's just starting with washes and starting to work with the paint that flows. And then over here, you see somebody who's been at it for a bit of time. So you can really go, like if you're starting out and you are doing things that look like this and it can be a little disheartening, just keep practicing. Keep trying and just keep working at it. Keep going through that old paper. Somebody in the I think Jen mentions that paper is part of successful watercolor paintings. Now,
Yeah.
I've done a ton of these pebbles on cardstock, but I'll tell you, if you can just step up to something like this is 140-pound watercolor paper, it's got a little bit more body to media on it. It will add more joy to your work. Maya recommends a cotton paper. When you're learning and you're just practicing, a good pad of cotton paper will cost you $65. So I say it's okay to start with pulp paper, but just make sure it's nice and heavy.
Yeah, you can, when you start out, you go through a lot of paper. And but even if it's not cotton, there are good, like, other cheaper paper.
Yeah, I picked up this
But
little pad of 4x8.
don't go for the cheapest one, because it will just make it even harder and not fun and just annoying. And yeah.
So the question we have here is, does it work on canvas? Watercolor is pigment mixed with gum arabic, and it's got to have something that it soaks into to hang on to. It doesn't really do great. It kind of, over time, it'll flake off of canvas. So if you want to work on canvases, you need to prepare it using something called watercolor ground, which you can buy it in a jar. It's 10 or 12 bucks. And you brush that on, let it dry, and then it puts a sort of a fibrous coating on. You can put it on all sorts of things, three-dimensional objects and canvases. But when you're starting to work with watercolor, I will say paper. Start with paper. And we've got some good advice from Pondfish here that watercolor is a transparent medium while acrylic is not. So you can layer the paint. And it's translucent. So we're working with white paper, and we've got the reflectance of the light going through the paint bouncing off the white, coming back up. That's what gives watercolor its luminosity. And whereas acrylic, if I painted over this with yellow, I wouldn't get yellow, I'd get green. If this were acrylic and I painted over it with yellow, I'd on top of blue. So you've got a translucent medium versus an opaque medium. Yeah. Boy, that's coming along nicely, Maya.
Yeah, no, not really, because I didn't have a good plan there, so I just, and yeah.
Yeah.
It has
So
to, now it's need to dry, so
I always want to interrupt you when you start criticizing yourself. I just hate, I just look at what you do and I just think it's always so pretty. It's always so pretty. Like sometimes I think you might be a little, just a touch hard on yourself. Yeah. I picked up this little pad. It's 30 sheets. They're 4x8. I got this kind of format because you see it fits in the screen. This I bought online. It was $4.50. I bought another. This is the second or third one I bought. The first time I bought it, it was $6.75 at the local art supply store. So you can get into a workable paper that is, nice, fairly heavy quality. It's got a texture to it that's pretty fun with watercolor media. And yeah, it's reasonable. So you can find something. You don't have to spend, $65, $70. You can. Did we get these questions answered? Yeah, give me a shout if we did not, and we'll. Because that is the answer to the question, why am I here? Am I doing a watercolor tutorial? Nope. I am here to just encourage anybody out there to spend some time making art. I think it's really good for our mental health to spend some time doing some artwork. It's just been a big part of my mental health, and if I can encourage anybody else to just play a little bit and it relieves some of the impact of modern living on your body, on your psyche, then that's my goal. And you can check my channel for other live streams. There are some where I really will just do almost a guided meditation to work people through. Do that when I'm streaming with a buddy. So, but mindfulness is something that can improve your quality of life. So, I like to encourage people to take up a mindfulness practice, and yeah, you can do it through whatever. If you're a person who likes to go for walks, you could take mindful walks. There are walking meditations and just about anything a human does. We have a way to meditate while doing it. And that can give us all kinds of benefits, from lowering our heart rate, lowering our blood pressure. It helps to overall a regular practice will help your immune system to be a little bit stronger and tolerate life stress a little bit more easily.
stress. Do we have stress? No.
Well, I've just been actively working to reduce mine and quit taking on jobs that create stress and don't give good value. Yeah. So if you guys wouldn't mind, I would really appreciate it if you double tap the screen and That'll give us a like. It helps push the video out a little bit more and gets more people to see what we're up to. And then maybe we can encourage them to get their art supplies out and have a play. Maya, this Prussian blue is so different from the ultramarine blue.
Yeah.
I know. My eye is I'm just struggling with this painting ever so much. To get the wet paint, I know it dries down into a much more subtle tone, but as I'm like laying these shadows in, my brain is just going, ah, it's too green.
I almost never use Prussian blue. I'm not sure why, because I think it looks it looks like phthalo blue, really. Doesn't it?
It has that color not found in nature cast to it that Prussian blue does. I will give you that. Oh, so you know, when Maya says something like that, I always have to whip out the paper and show you guys what we're talking about in visual terms. So there's Prussian blue. Let me grab phthalo blue. It's all right. They're both intense bright blues. But phthalo blue is, what do we say? Phthalocyanine, polychlorocopper phthalocyanine is the blue. And it's sold as phthalo blue, which is PHTHALO. And it's got a lot of tinting strength. It's bright. It makes really good mixtures. A little bit of it goes a long way, so we like that in pigments. And it would be really impressive if I could tell you the same information on phthalo blue, but I don't don't have it off the tip of my tongue here. But can you tell how bright this is? Phthalo blue. So it's a mid-range blue, but it's very, very bright. And it comes in various shades. It comes in a green shade and it comes in a red shade. I think this is kind of a neutral one here, but and then here we're talking about Prussian blue. And it's a bit darker, it's a bit more turquoisey. This is more of a sky color. This is some
Maybe
water in here or something.
okay. Now I have to try, because maybe the Prussian blue I kind of keep in my palette is because yeah. Let's just see.
And then we have what's been my favorite that I've been working with a lot in recent weeks. I've just had a love affair with classic ultramarine blue. It almost shades towards a lavender or purple when especially compared to the Prussian blue that looks like a yellowy turquoise. And one of the differences you might notice is, again, we'll talk about the paper. It has a cold press texture, which means it's got these little divots in it. It's not perfectly smooth like a piece of writing paper would be. And as it starts to dry down, bits of pigment precipitate out in a granulating watercolor. Phthalo doesn't do that. It's pretty even. Now, the way I've brushed it on is so that we have some variation here, but you can get a very smooth wash of phthalo blue, whereas you cannot get a smooth wash. I can't with, Maya might be able to, with ultramarine, because ultramarine just has a pigment, and the characteristic of that paint is for that pigment to fall into the holes of the paper. And you can control that by not putting quite as much water, but if you get quite a lot of water in it, big moppy brush, so you can move those little pigment particles around and sort of gather them up or spread them out, and that'll help you get a different effect. So that's, I kind of get to the question, which you guys are not asking, which is, why do you need that many? Why do we need different ones? Because each paint behaves a little bit differently. And with watercolor, you kind of you can rework it, re-wet it a little bit, but we like to try to get the effect in as few brush strokes as possible. So the more our paint will have a characteristic, I can use a pebbly characteristic to represent landscape texture like sand, and a smooth texture to represent things like sky.
Holy moly! I have this super bright blue, and I really don't use it. Kind of, I'm like, oh shit!
Like Daniel Smith blue red shade, is that what we've got?
No, this is
Or
Daniel's. No, yeah, this is Daniel Smith,
Windsor?
but
I've got
it's not.
Windsor.
No, the phthalo blue, and you see the Prussian blue. It's maybe the camera is. They are not too far like apart, but this one, no, it's that. This is Sennelier blue, I think, and that's beautiful. And why in the what? Why don't I use this one? I just want to know.
You just haven't yet.
Yeah.
That's all. You just haven't yet. Yeah, what other blue do I have that we might want? Do we want to know what cyan? Cyan is kind of another. Well, or is that more of a new pigment? I've used cyan for a long time because I've used cyan ink in my screen printing, but I don't think it's necessarily a kind of a standard watercolor. But Lucas is offering cyan as one of the mixing primaries now, and I'll pull this one out to have a look, but I think it is, yeah, it's PB15-3, so that's going to be, again, a phthalo blue. This little number is the pigment code for the pigment. B for blue, 15:3 is 15 is a phthalo blue, and 3 is, I think that's just neutral shade. So this one's going to stay in that neighborhood of the phthalo blue. And oh, this actually looks green shade because it's very turquoisey. And if we get into ultramarine, that's going to be pigment blue 29. Did I get that right? And Prussian blue will be PB26 is Prussian blue.
Look at this runaway paint. That's.
Are you playing with? Have you got the quinacridones in play? Is that what you've done?
No, it's the Aussie red gold, that I love, and
Okay.
and
All right.
the fun new color I found in my palette. Like what
Yeah.
can I
So
mix?
Yeah, Pup Groomer's got a good contribution here. Each tone of each color has different properties. Like, so each pigment, I mean, it's literally made from different things. So different things are going to behave in different ways. And I find that the phthalo is quite staining, meaning if I go to lift it off by re-wetting it, that paper underneath is going to stay blue. And there are some other colors that if you re-wet them and lift them off, you can get almost back to white on the paper. And then granulating. So it's starting to dry down. I think you can get this idea of the bottom one here, how we've got some little speckles of paint that are precipitating out. That's a granulation. And ultramarine just always is kind of known for that. Pondfish. I don't have gold or orange on my palette. I wonder if I need one.
You need one.
Oh my golly. You you are about to discover the wonderful world of quinacridone gold. And I think the answer to that is yes. You need some golds and reds in your palette. Did you think we were going to tell you no? Oh, you don't need that. Hold on. Don't buy paint.
Hello. If you want that answer, you come to the wrong place. Hi, Craft Zone.
Oh, is Hannah with us this evening? Craft Zone. Hi. Good to see you. Do you need some gold? Well. So, you know, the first one is free, baby.
So do you mean
So
like gold, or like yellow goldish?
Yeah, I think Pondfish is meaning like some not metallic gold, but some yellows and golds. This is a Daniel Smith color card. It's got 66 colors. It was $5. And what do we think? Maybe I'll just pull some of these and put them on the samples for you so we can see what we've got here. Because
Yeah,
I am pretty sure I need to get quinacridone burnt orange, although I do have burnt scarlet, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So probably a non probably good answer is it depends on what you paint, but you kind of need them if you're doing anything in fall tones. All right, let's get a little water on the paper and get this going.
And if you get the Aussie red gold, you see how strong, like it looks like an orange when you have it, like, and then you add water to it, and it's like a soft yellow kind of thing.
This is the gold that's just been lighting my fire lately, and it looks pretty kind of drab, warm earth color, but it's absolutely magic. And it just will go anywhere the water goes. So you drop it in on something and it explodes like a little burst of yellow. The classic yellow that most palettes include is probably raw sienna, yellow ochre probably. This is really a very earthy color. It's going to look on the paper much like it looks in the pan. And most of like your sets of 12 will include this color. So the hue is kind of in the neighborhood, but it stays where you put it.
This is Daniel Smith. Aussie red gold. It's a must-have. And yeah, the where did I put? Like this one is with Aussie red gold and some some more reddish kind of thing, but this is mostly Aussie red gold and.
So here's Aussie red gold.
Fresh color.
Yeah, it's just slightly more orange than quinacridone gold. It's got its pigments are PY83, it's PR101, which is iron oxide, and PV19, which is violet. So it's quite a dynamic color. And let's see if I the quinacridones too. So when I drop that in, can you see how it just expands? And it's probably going to be really hard to visualize when I'm dropping yellow into yellow, but that's part of your quinacridone.
Maybe it's clear. Like I can hold it. If you wet the paper first, and then you have like a mixture with. Can you see? It's just kind of. So this is what I like to call. It's a traveler. It's a runaway paint. Because you just pop it in and it just blooms.
Yeah. The one I have at the bottom is quinacridone burnt scarlet. Yeah. So can we nerd out on oranges and yellows? Yes.
Yes.
This is my favorite messy thing to do with the scarlet. Oh, it just goes and does painty things.
So this is a fun way to just, if you have like travel paint, travel palette.
Yeah. Oh, the range on Aussie Red Gold is awesome. It's really nice. Something like the cadmium yellow light, they tend to just, as you increase the water and make it into a wash, they hold the same value. Let me grab the swatches here and show you what. Beige one I love. That's one of my favorite yellows. But so you see on this one, here's a mass tone, and as we go into the washes, it holds the same hue. So you're just going to get cadmium yellow all the way through, whereas okay, here's in your lemon yellows, they'll be pretty bright in the mass tone, and then as you go out in the washes, it's almost like you get 2 or 3 colors in the same tube. It's a thing. I don't know that I'm explaining it very well, but here in lemon yellow, see, you've got kind of a bright, almost green tone, and then out here it's just a pale wash of yellow. So I think I got Aussie Red Gold put into the swatches. Okay, here's a really good example of one that is a different color in the mass tone than it is in the wash. And this is Windsor yellow, which is a Hansa yellow. And it's fairly golden, like yellow-orange in the mass tone, and just a little bit, you've got some shift in the hue. That can be aggravating, but it can also be sort of an advantage, like the, getting two paints for one sort of a feel. I think we got Aussie red gold over in the, yeah, here we go. All right, so here's Aussie red gold, and you see it in the mass tone. It's dark, very an earthy orangey color. It looks yellow. So that one definitely shows you how you get sort of two colors for one. It is Daniel Smith is the brand for the Aussie red gold. Yep. And this is also Daniel Smith. This is Daniel Smith. I think this was Cotman. So, yeah. All right. Any other color questions we can answer for you guys? Yeah. Oranges are quite, like if you're mixing colors, I think oranges are quite easy to mix. I struggle to mix to get good clear purples. And I'm just in love with the Daniel Smith greens. I just am flipping out for Cascade green. But it is it's not I wouldn't say that was one you want for mixing. It has some effects and it definitely does its own thing. Yeah, this is like we've got undersea green, which does like it's doing 15 things at once. And this is Daniel Smith Cascade green. This entire square is the same color of paint.
I have to head out pretty soon, I think.
Yep, I think we've covered all of our. We made a little art. We did a little pebble drawing. We had a little swatching. So yeah, it's kind of getting on here too. I was shooting for about an hour, so we're getting pretty close to that. I'd like to thank everybody who came in and joined us in chat tonight. Anybody who's a new subscriber, appreciate you so much. And replay through, you guys. I just really appreciate the replay crew. Thank you, Maya, for coming and hanging out and painting with me tonight.
Oh, always a pleasure. As usual, I didn't finish anything because I just keep, yeah.
How do we know when it's finished anyway? It's always
Right.
you always come back to it and go, oh, there's one more wash I can put on it, one more color.
And then, oh shoot, that's too much. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jen is about to
Jen's
get
off to get
started.
her
Yeah.
live feed started. Yeah. Pondfish, you're very welcome. Thank you very much for the question. I think we all had fun with that question. Yeah. Yep. I just in my last order of art supplies, I got I ordered paint sticks, which I like the paint sticks quite a lot. I have unwrapped them and then just put cut off a piece and put them into the half pans, and they're really a terrific value. So if you can find the paint stick and I recommend that medium's pretty fun. If you'll need to get some empty half pans for that. But you can also work with them for the stick. Maria, I know, prefers the tube, but I think the sticks are a pretty good value. So I picked them up on Jerry's Artorama online, and they had a pretty good. I think they carry the full range of Daniel Smiths, so you can find them there, and if you can't find them in your local art supply store. So yeah, thanks again to Dan K for helping us with a little bit of the technical stuff. And just comments here. Oh, quinacridone gold, but I think Daniel Smith doesn't make one. They do make one. Yeah. And they do make one. That was my first Daniel Smith purchase, was a Quin Gold. So.
And get it now, because they are out of they will stop selling the
oh, yep, that's true. Quinacridone is something that's been mined in China, and they've exhausted the deposit, and we're not going to be able to get single pigment quinacridone paints. It'll be a while. There's stores of it that will sell out, but they're going to be phasing out the quinacridone colors. And I'm sure we'll have something else come along, but boy, I just love the dynamic intensity of the quinacridone colors.
So if you like, I don't think they sell. I think they stopped selling the single pigment quinacridone gold, but the pigment is like PO48, I think it was. And if you want the single pigment, you can get the quinacridone burnt orange. That's the single pigment. It's a more like a muted natural kind of thing, like this, this thing. That's the quinacridone burnt orange.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like, of course, it's more orange, but because when you're mixing colors, it's good sometimes to have like just the single pigment colors.
The quinacridone burnt scarlet is also single pigment, PR206. That's going to get you into quinacridone. There's also a lovely quinacridone magenta that I believe is a single pigment as well.
Yeah, but I think the 48 is kind of the single pigment kind of thing they have used on, and it is in quinacridone gold, but that's the pigment that they are going to stop.
Yeah, PR202 or
PR48, I think.
Yeah, so
buy
the big tube.
48, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Which has the pigment orange. Yeah, so, well, it's a different time over in Norway for Maya, so we should probably let her go get her day started.
She needs some breakfast because she's starving to death.
Oh no, Maya.
That's the problem.
Well, thank you so much for streaming with me. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.